Oh. Hey there, and welcome to another fabulous Chubs Gone Wild. This is episode 489, recorded on April 10th, 2023. I better put my glasses on, otherwise I won't be able to do anything. All right, it's currently 76 degrees and sunny outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios, where it is only 204 days until Halloween. I wonder what TJ Zombie Girl is going to be doing for Halloween this year. Do you think she'll make a costume?
I don't think she'll be working
Well, yeah, but she might make a costume. Who knows? But where will she wear it? That's the question.
anywhere she wants.
And that is the right answer. It's also 259 days until Christmas. Ah, ah, ah.
Oh, wait. Okay. How many days?
259.
So that means 258 days for you to not be in the mood for Christmas. If it's like last year,
What was last year? I really wanted I mean I felt it, but I didn't feel it as strongly as I did until I had to start taking stuff down. And I was like, oh, I feel like I missed Christmas this year.
yeah,
I always hate that
kind
feeling.
of did. See, because Christmas for me is the lead up to because the day
Hmm.
sucks. Because I don't do anything on Christmas Day.
Well, not that
I
you're not
stay home.
invited to.
I stay home and I watch Christmas movies, and
Yeah,
then I get bored with them, and then I end up watching scaries on YouTube, and but it's the days leading into it where it's
mhm.
you go past a bakery and you can smell like snickerdoodles being made or
Mm.
something great, and just that's the kind of stuff that all the things where you smell the pine tree for the first time. Maybe
Oh,
not your pine tree, but a pine tree. And yeah, I just love it. I love the lead up, hate and I think that's why the tree usually comes down on the 26th,
mm.
is because I sat there and looked at it on Christmas Day, and no presents were under it,
Aw.
and it's just sitting there going, okay, just put me away. I'm done for the year.
Well,
Done.
there is nothing like the loneliness that you can feel on Christmas Day. I heard that in a song. But you had one present under it,
I did.
Barry
I had
Manilow.
presents under it the day before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It wasn't it's just, the day of Christmas. Everything's gone. All
Yeah.
the excitement's gone.
Mhm.
And then this year I wasn't eating Christmas dinner, so
Yeah.
actually I did eat Christmas dinner. It was funny because at my niece's, we had I probably mentioned this, but just bringing it back to
Hmm.
um we had what is it, God, the beef that the brisket piece that
Roast beast.
no, it's not roast beef. But it's we had the and I usually hate it, but everybody cooked it right. Well, anyway, so at my niece's, we had the beef, and the it was mashed potatoes and a salad, and I think it was Brussels sprouts. And then we went the next day. That was Christmas Eve. On Christmas Day, we went to Sean's sister's house, and they had the exact same menu.
Oh, wow.
Exact
Uh,
same menu. It was crazy.
well, what
Uh,
did your brother eat? Oh, that's right. He left.
Now he had salad,
And then he left.
and then he left.
Well, I know it's one of those things that you do realize as you get older, I think, that part of the joy of Christmas is the anticipation and the
Yeah,
build up and that like, several weeks just before, because that's when all the fun, and then you get like the if you're involved with anything, you get like little work parties and this and that, and that's all the fun
and
stuff.
the Christmas cards when they come in through the mail, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, look, it's a card from Matt. Wait a minute, it's November.
Hey, you're lucky you didn't get it in August. I have sent out my card like literally I have I think the day after Halloween or on Halloween, I have sent out my cards before. I'm just like, and done. And
Well,
I usually end up getting a slew of, oh my God, this was the first card I got this year. I'm like, yep,
um,
it'll be the
uh,
one buried in the back by the time Christmas gets here.
yeah, I
But
had a friend, her birthday was well, is Veterans Day. So whatever the 10th of November, a couple days after yours and Ouija's. Um and what happened was when she's Scottish, so when she would when it was her birthday, that meant the next day they could put up Christmas. Why?
yeah,
Because they don't have Thanksgiving to fuck up their whole, month. Um,
yeah.
and I think that's another reason, Thanksgiving smack right there to prevent you from putting up Christmas any earlier than Thanksgiving, or at least, that's
Well, for
what
uh,
supposedly sane people tell me.
but the reason that they put Thanksgiving there was to try to kick off the Christmas shopping celebration in the first place and stimulate the economy. But
Oh, I know.
I'm just telling you, girl, because that I don't know. Just do we need Thanksgiving anymore? I don't know. It's such
Well,
a mixed holiday because of all the, when you find out the reality of it. In fact, this is something I'll tell you. This is something that I just had a conversation with about St. Patrick's Day, and I was like, St. Patrick's Day, and actually one of our listeners right now is rolling his eyes so hard. um, the whole thing about it is really it was kind of horrible because it was basically the Christian crazies going into Ireland and killing all the pagans and the Celts and anyone that wasn't Christian. Basically, it just was like a slaughter. And so, the whole St. Patrick's Day, he really wasn't a saint, except he was sainted because he killed everybody that wasn't a Christian.
I
So
thought it was
I just
snakes.
pointed out this year and said, it feels a little weird to, not that I'm not going to wear my green. And, I mean, in America, it's very, just a commercial holiday, really, anyway. Um, but I said, the actual meaning of it's a little more in depth. And I seriously got oh, just shut up and wear your green. No one cares.
Well, yeah. I mean, but if honestly, if you look at St. Patrick's Day, it's kind of the perfect holiday.
Oh, because you get to drink.
Well, no, not that. It's because it all takes place on one day.
uh
There's no lead up.
Not
You
like
don't have to
Valentine's
give
Day.
anybody any gifts.
Uh, oh,
Um,
that's true.
Um, you know, it's either a drinking holiday or an eating holiday.
Mhm.
The cards and candy industry can't suck it dry with their, oh, no, you're not sending out St. Patrick's Day cards and eating St. Patrick's, clovered
Uh,
Reese's peanut butter, no,
yep.
no, you've got to.
Guinness cleans up though.
You can celebrate or not celebrate it. It's not a big
Right.
deal. Where if you don't celebrate on the 4th of July, everyone's like, well, you're not patriotic.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't like fireworks, okay? Um, and that kind of stuff.
Right. Yep. But I just thought it was funny because I was like, now you seriously wouldn't be saying that if we were talking about Columbus Day and the fact that it's being changed more and more to Indigenous Peoples Day because its history is really fucked up.
Well,
But no,
I don't honestly think
because
that anybody deserves to have their own holiday.
say that again. I didn't hear you.
I don't think anybody deserves to be having a whole holiday, the President's Day.
Oh, oh well, I'll go along with that one.
Well, even, I mean, I I have, Cesar Chavez and Martin Luther King Jr. Day,
What?
I think are great days, but
Yes.
I don't know that they should be federal holidays, but I
Oh,
like that
I'm fine
they're
with it.
recognized days. And of
Yeah.
course, if you didn't work for the state of the feds, you never got those holidays anyway. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I just it meant a little bit more to me this year. And I got poo-pooed for it. It's horrible. Anyway, moving on from that.
Okay.
Hey, Patreon offers folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to general public, like special podcast videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons: Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ, Sage from the Universe, Eric, Sean, Charles, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, Kingsley, and Moose P. Please visit patreon.com/Matt and find out how you can become a member for as little as $1 a month. You know, I had a dream, and DJ Sausage was in it last night.
Oh, was it dirty?
No,
Naked?
unfortunately, but I don't remember what it was. I just remember
Unfortunately, you
we were
were
talking
naked,
about something. What?
or unfortunately, you weren't naked.
Oh, he's a married man. I shouldn't elaborate.
Okay, I get it. At least not while we're recording.
All
Okay.
right. In history, on this day, on April 10th, 1866, the American Society for Prevention for the Cruelty to Animals, ASPCA, was founded in New York City by philanthropist and diplomat Henry Bergh, who was 54. In 1863, he had been appointed by President Abraham Lincoln to a diplomatic post in Russia, well, the Russian court of Tsar Alexander II. It was there that he became horrified when he witnessed horses being beaten by peasant drivers. And en route back to America in June 1865, a visit to the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in London, the RSPCA, awakened his determination to secure a charter, not only to incorporate the ASPCA, but to exercise the powers to arrest and prosecute violators of the law. And so we have him to thank for the protection of many, 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 many wonderful animals. So thank you, Mr. Berg. All right. Today's affirmation, please take a moment to center yourselves. If you're driving, just keep watching the road. Deep breath. I give myself permission to be preposterous. And breathe out. And on this show, we definitely are preposterous at every turn. Right, moving on. Let's see if we celebrated any holidays today. Well, this is weird. Today is the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Day. So bizarre. It's also Dingus Day. Well, you have friends who celebrated that now, haven't you? Easter Monday. Easter Monday. No leftovers. Encourage a Young Writer Day.
We have lots of people we know that are big Easter Monday fans. So
Oh yes, I think you have a picture of one. Leftover Candy Day. And this year, of course, I went and I saw and I didn't see anything that, I mean, like, not that I was like looking to buy more candy, but if they'd had like, oh, look, here's a bag of Hershey's Kisses that's like 10%, of full price, I would have been like, okay, that's worth getting, but nothing else. Nope.
yeah, but I can't believe he found Dove chocolate, Reese's eggs,
Yeah.
and the bird speckled bird egg things.
Oh, yes, I know what you mean.
I cannot believe he found all of those the day after. I mean, normally you get the leftovers is Brock and what's the bunnies that are so gross?
Peeps.
No,
Yeah.
no, the chocolate bunnies, but they
Oh, yes, the Palmer.
The Palmer
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Palmer
he
buddy.
had none of that. He had just plenty of, the best.
Yeah, I was in Rite Aid on Saturday and they still had a ton of stuff. And then, like I had said today, actually to you earlier, I was in Rite Aid today and they had the big kids baskets still left. And in years prior, well, I would say in years prior to 2020, that shit was gone like a week ahead of time. I mean, the only things that were left by Easter were just like the crap.
Okay,
So,
I counted there's 6 bags of Reese's peanut butter eggs.
mm,
There is Cadbury. There's one, two, three, four, five, 6 Cadburys. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 Robin's eggs.
oh,
Oh God.
you
Uh,
know, the one thing that I can say that is an interesting little twist is that as you and I, well, how do I say that in an appropriate, non-shaming way?
you
As
can.
you and I go down, we can always be assured that others will take up our mantle.
It's true.
There we go. That's wonderful. Okay, moving on. Encourage a young writer. Any young writers out there, I encourage you. There, I celebrate it. Global Work from Home Day. Doing it. Golfers. No, thank you. National Cinnamon Crescent Day. Well, that sounds lovely. Farm animals. Hug
Hey,
your dog. Did that. Safety pin.
no.
Okay. Everything needs a day, I guess. Salvation Army founders. No, thank you. Siblings. I ain't got any of them. And White House Easter egg roll. Observed the day after Easter. I guess that's when the presidents and everybody who have the leftover Easter eggs that they were like, well, that's nice. I don't want that shit anymore. They roll them on the lawn and then
No, that's
all the
because they all come back to work on the Monday after Easter because
oh,
they all got the week off.
and there's eggs left. You
And
know, I
yeah,
didn't color any eggs this year.
I never do, but I didn't hard boil any, and I meant to hard boil some eggs.
Yeah,
I'll
I
do it
didn't do
after.
that either. Eggs are so expensive now. I did oh, I found a couple dozen last week for like 318, and then I got to the register and they were like 488 for a dozen. And I was like, and part of me was like ready to be like going all Nephi on them and being like, "Ah," but instead I went, actually that's cheaper than the six something that they usually are. So I'm good. So all right. Well, that was fun. We did celebrate a few of those wonderful, fabulous days.
I think you guys should get a hen house.
You know, trust me, I've thought about it, but chickens are nasty. One
Well,
of the
and I
reasons
can
I like
just
eating them is because they're just nasty. What?
and you know Kaya would never
Oh,
shoot.
she would be running around that chicken wire fence just rah, the whole time.
And you'd be getting no eggs because of it.
Right. So yeah, not good. All right, and we do have birthdays. I think a few eventually will know. Waiting for you. Okay, well, okay, don't do those. Wow, I don't have any friends. I had no friends with birthdays today, which is weird.
Oh.
Usually I have like six birthdays or something. But oh well. Hey, so birthday's coming up. Happy birthday to Candace, Brett, Garrett. Oh, that Garrett. He was from the Tigger cast. We called him Tigger, and he was just lovely. Also Mike, Jack, Michelle. Yes, I said that right. Lisa, Parker. Oh, that our author, Parker Williams. And then we got Scott, Tony, David. I'm going with Shiking, Cheeking.
Sure.
Uh, Fred, who is our local leather boy a year or two ago. So Fred,
That Fred. Okay.
yeah. We got Danny and we have Devin. Happy birthday to all of you and have a wonderful opening of the birthday. Wait a minute. I don't know how I slipped into Big Fatty there. Oh, so many have. Oh, well, anyway, happy
Then
birthday
slipped right out. You
to all of
forgot
you.
that part.
Well, yeah, we should move on now.
Yeah.
All right. What's in the feed bag? Nothing. Okay, well, thank you for that. Next up, we have Chub Hugs, and I want to send a huge, huge, huge. Actually, I know we both do, but I will take the mantle and send a huge Chub hug out to Scott MC and his husband Mark. Scott's mother has been having some problems recently and passed away. I think just this morning. So we want to send them lots and lots of love and, you know, chub hugs. So, how about you, sir?
Well, besides my normal ones, I
Hmm.
did send out a chub hug to lovely Steve Hansen, whose mother died this last week.
Oh, that is
So,
true. Yeah.
yeah.
He was posting some photos in there, and part of me was just like, you are so late. And yet I just felt bad for him, of course, because of
Of
what he's
course.
going through and having to go back and that's one of the things I will say, even though I don't like talking about stuff like this, I will dread is when I have to go through things. Uh, I had to do that with my father, but with he was a hoarder, as I talked about on the show before. And so with his stuff, mostly it was like, oh God, I need another garbage bag. It was like, I don't have enough room in my outgoing garbage to get rid of all this stuff. Because unfortunately, so much of it just was like, you know, oh, look, old employment records from 1987. Oh, needed that, didn't we? Uh, anyway, but yeah, when those things can be the hardest, the absolute hardest things. And our TJ zombie girl knows that from a few years ago with her mom. She had to help her basically move her entire life, and it was quite an ordeal. Anyway.
I saw a really funny, terrifying meme. It was this girl looking at this china cabinet with all sorts of knickknacks
Oh yeah.
and all sorts of memorabilia inside it. And the mother says, "One day this will all be yours." And she goes, "Oh yeah." And then she's having thoughts of thrift stores. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's like,
Oh
well, I always hate it when the beautiful old ladies, they go to their the rest home, and all they have are like a picture of their family that never comes to see them,
yep.
and a few leftover favorite knickknacks, and everything else has been thrown away. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh great. It's almost like I'm going to stop buying things that I find are wonderful, because it's just going to be somebody's garbage later on.
No, I totally get that. In fact, I've already started doing that. I've
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I have learned to that something that's really cool and that I think is really neat to admire it in the store for what it is, but not bring it home.
Well, like, look at this. Okay, here is a crystal knife holder.
Oh, I thought it was a bone. Okay.
Well, it's like a bone. It's like a little, like, ooh, I'm a mouse doing weight. Yeah, you lay this on the table, and then you lay the knife across it so it didn't touch the
Oh,
table.
wow.
But who's going to want this after I'm dead?
Well, it does look kind of like a sex toy,
Okay.
but I get it. No,
Hey,
that's
speaking
a
of
very
death,
real thing. And trust me, my Corey Hart collection, I have a nice big Corey Hart collection, and I'm just thinking, either I need to make sure this is designated to go to somebody who's going to appreciate it, or it's just going to be in the dumpster. So, yeah. And on that bright note, let's move on to celebrity deaths.
yay.
There were quite a few, unfortunately. Starting with Peter Cattermole, the S Club 7 singer, died unexpectedly in April at age 66, 2 months after the group revealed that they were going on a reunion tour in the fall. Michael Lerner, the veteran actor, died at age 81, and he played the publisher Fulton Greenway in Elf, just in
Yeah.
case
And he
anybody
was
needed
also
to.
in Glee. He's been in everything.
Yeah. Elizabeth Hubbard As the World Turns star, died at age 89. Lotus percussionist Chuck Morris's body was recovered on April 9th after he and his son went missing from a kayaking trip in Arkansas in March. Also, the musician, he was 47. Las Velander, the longtime guitarist for ABBA, died on April 7th. He was 70. Judy Farrell, the actress best known for Nurse Mabel on MASH, she died on April 2nd after a stroke, and she was 84. And then legendary San Francisco drag queen Heklina was 54, and she died in London after on last Monday, actually. So, and then finally, Darcel. I always fuck this up. 15, I believe. Roman numerals. So Darcel 15, the Guinness World Record holding drag icon, known as the oldest working drag queen ever, died in March at the age of 92. And I actually had, I met her very very briefly in passing, but she was in an event not long, about a year ago that I went to, that I was part of actually. Anyway, so very interesting woman and very well connected to some of our friends that
So
we
she was the oldest living drag queen. I thought that was Lady Bunny.
know. Oh, poor Bunny.
I'm so glad she's not a listener.
You never know. You never know. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So rest in power, people. That was a lot. And now let's get on to something a little bit more cheery, as Tom wants to talk to you about.
Well, now I don't know if I mentioned it. Did I tell you I'm not growing any weed this year?
Well, since you haven't talked about, killing any of the girls or hanging them up or anything else like that, I kind of figured.
Well, what happened was I went through the room and we have so many bags of weed that we use the, and we don't go through it very fast. It's just the two of us. So, I mean, we've got, let's say, I think it was 13 bags of weed. So, and they're not small. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're gonna use that first, and then I'll grow again at a later date. But I do miss it because they're so sweet and so kind and so lovable to be around. But oh, and their room is nice and warm on those cold days, so that was awesome. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. This week, what do we got to talk about television wise? That you're not watching as well. Oh my God, I'm going down. Okay, RuPaul's Drag Race. There we go.
Huh.
He doesn't have that, so I know I can talk about it. RuPaul's Drag Race. This week they had they're 1 week away from the finale, so it was they have the clip show, and this was a 2-hour clip show too. Most of the clip shows, even on RuPaul, it's usually an hour, but they had so much. And I mean, believe me, the RuPaul's clip shows are so much more exciting than any
Right.
like Bachelor show. It's like it's quick, it's fast, everyone's laughing, there's shade, there's tea, and there's no Gabby trying to fuck everybody. So, well, actually, I think this time it was Amethyst was the one that was doing that, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't. Oh, my hand looks really grainy. Okay.
Oh.
Let's see. Masked Singer. They brought out two new singers, and neither of them went home. But the one who was the champion from last week, which was the doll, and it was obviously some rocker from the 80s. I figured it was some rocker from the 80s, maybe late 70s, early 80s, because it was 80s week. But this guy was tall and he could walk in heels. And it's so funny because even the judges go, hey, you can really walk well in those high heels. And he goes, honey, these are called pumps. And
Mm.
That was to Jenny McCarthy. It was really funny. But it ended up being Dee Snider from We're Not Gonna Take This.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was great. What he was so comfortable on stage. It was really fun to watch.
Hmm.
You know, and he was, given Nick a big deal, and all the other judges he was, playing with, and it was really nice. I really, that's one reason why I always liked drag queens and hairdressers so much, was because they were so quick-witted,
Uh-huh.
and it's like you never see them go thinking of something to say.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just rolls off and that's how he was. It was really nice. Ted Lasso this week, they had to play against the team, Richmond. Ted Lasso's group had to play against the team who Nate went to, and Nate was one of the assistant coaches for Ted, and he got mad and left. So he left and went to this other team that just happens to be owned by the husband, the ex-husband of the woman who owns Richmond's team. So everybody was unhappy that they lost to them. And Nate was kind of rude to Ted. Even for rivals, you always shake hands at the end. And Ted went over to shake hands and he walked away. And then someone goes, I can't believe you didn't shake his hand. And he goes, oh, I didn't even realize he tried. And it was kind of sad because he's all been out of shape because somebody else is the coach and he wasn't. Ted was the coach, so they always get all the credit. The assistants don't get the credit.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yep.
that's it's the way it is in life. Okay. They talk about Biden, but they're going, where's Camilla Harris? We never see her anymore. She's the butt of a joke because she's the assistant.
Yeah, well, look how many times we were in the nonprofit work and we were the ones that were just busting our ass and making things happen. And who got the awards? Not us. It was always the presidents or the stars. Not that I'm bitter. I just pointing it out.
Yeah, but you used to deliberately give out awards to people to make them feel better, and nobody ever gave you the award. I think you actually did get one eventually, didn't you?
Nope, not from you whores. I mean,
Well,
did I
because
get
I
one?
don't.
No, I was part of MGW and had to co-accept it with the new owner. I don't remember getting any other awards other than the ones I earned in college. Those were all mine.
So oh no, you should watch that one, American Idol. This week they did this last week they did the solos and the duets, and this week, because once Bachelor's done, they do 2 nights of American Idol towards the end, and to fill up Sunday, Monday, and so they this week they're uh, they're cutting it down to the top 24.
The top 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then and once they get to the top 24, they'll do their first live show. So that'll probably be next week.
Oh.
And they, the thing is they've always got so many talented people because they just keep getting older. I mean, they
Right.
kids keep, we've got kids who I've been watching the show since I was 8.
Oh
Okay.
yes, I love hearing that on Survivor. Like, yeah, I was born and fuck you, whatever.
Yeah, you eat my shit. On Madoon, which
Yes.
is now Chicago,
Uh-huh.
second season. The second episode was really, really fun because Keegan Michael Key has been accused of murder
Uh-oh.
of a showgirl, and so his wife poses as a showgirl and tries to get her job, and of course gets the job even though she's terrible. But she auditions for it with the actual dialogue from a chorus line. It's like Zach's up there. Okay, now we're gonna do the first transition. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dun, 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 dun. And
Oh.
they're all doing the dancing. And then when they do the singing, instead of going, I really need this job, they're going, I really want some food. I have to have some food. I am so hungry. That kind of stuff. And so everything is a lampoon on another musical. Michael Key, he's um, in jail, and the guy that comes in is a mixture of the guy from Pippin, Hair, and Godspell. He's got the big fro kind of hair from the white guy fro from the 60s.
Hmm.
Uh, and then he sings a song that's vaguely sounds like Corner of the Sky from Pippin. So it's just one thing after another, and it's just delightful. It's the I don't know why it's not better received Emmy wise,
Hmm.
because it's fantastic. It really is. Um, then I saw two movies this week. I saw Prom Pact on Disney Plus, which it was so funny because when they first announced it, it was like, you know how they have the scroll that they show each of what the highlighted shows are. It was
Yeah.
about halfway through the scroll, and then come this weekend, it switched to first in the scroll,
Oh.
and I started seeing commercials for it. They had one on last night on American Idol, which of course is a Disney Plus, but not Disney Plus, but a Disney show because it's on
Hmm.
ABC. But it's all about promposals and about two a guy and a girl who are like nerdy best friends. And they don't want to go to the prom, but they really want to go to the prom. And everybody's getting asked out on the prom, and it's funny because it's 80s theme is the prom. So like this one guy comes out with his three friends and does Ghostbusters. You want to go to the prom with me? And they're all dressed like Ghostbusters. And then I mean, if you'd appreciate it because you'd be going, okay, that is this show, or that's this song, that's this movie. Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. It was that I thought that was really clever. And the Margaret Cho's in it. She plays the lesbian.
Oh, then I have to watch it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people you recognize, and it's cute. The other one I watched was on actually Netflix, and this came out late last year. School of Good and Evil. Charlize Theron, Michelle Yeoh, Kerry Washington. Um, yeah, I mean, it's got a really, really good cast, and it's about these two girls who live in this village, and they hate it because everyone calls them a witch, and they they're poor, and everyone picks all the kids pick on them, so they
Yeah.
wish to go to this school, you know to a place where they can be princesses. And so what happens is they get sent to the two girls get picked up and sent to the school, but they go to the wrong side of the school, because one side is the good side of the school, the other side is the bad side of the school. And then this is where people start out in fairy tales. So like one of the main good people, his dad is King Arthur, and if you look at one of the bad kids' father is the Sheriff of Nottingham. So it's all the villains and the heroes from fairy tales get their start in this school.
Oh.
It ran a little long, but it was fun. It's kind of campy, and one of the girls, is from High School Musical, the musical, the series. Yeah,
So you're in love with it because of that, right?
well, that helped too. It helped,
Yeah.
um, but it was a cute little show.
Good.
So yeah, and otherwise, my week has been. I did go out on Saturday. Sean's softball team was having a little birthday get together at one of the bars here in town. So we went over, and that was fun, except the parts that weren't. Not the bar itself. I was really surprised. It's like this obviously was meant to be, I mean, because they've got a kitchen in the back, but
Mhm.
it was obviously meant to be something else, like a little restaurant at some point, I'm thinking,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because it's kind of in a business area that during the day it's rustling and busy, and at night this bar is open. So
Yep. Yeah, and the Bear Dive Bar is it lives up to its name, but in a good way. We really like to go in there for just to have kind of relaxed dinner not have to put up the budget, have a couple beers, but yeah,
And the seating, it's all high seating.
yeah.
That's
But if you get off where they, unless they've changed it, uh, they had benches that were
yeah,
pretty comfortable.
but
High
they were,
benches, of course, but
yeah, and,
still,
and
it
it
was,
was low if you were outside. Radio
yeah,
stations, unlike
and
other people
chairs
who have
outside.
high seating outside, the dive bear bar did not.
Oh, but it reminds me of that meme where it's so you never pray harder, and it shows a big chubby guy, and it says you never pray harder than when you go to somebody's backyard barbecue and you see this, and it's one of those little tiny folding chairs that like we at the Cyndi Lauper concert.
Yeah.
When you're just like sitting there with your everything clenched, going, please don't fall, please don't break.
Yeah, the I can't think of what they're called. The chairs, they're really popular back east. They sit back low. They have the fan back. Adirondack chairs.
Ugh,
Adirondack.
yeah.
Yeah. We were looking at one and it was so far back. I would never be able, I would need a crane to pull me out of the
Uh-huh.
chair. I
Yeah.
don't care if I'm fat or not fat. It was like it was so weird because your knees are like the same height as your fucking shoulders.
Right.
Um, and it's like, try to get out of this thing. My God.
Well, and that's one of the things, when we go over to our friend's house for to be around his pool or to whatever, and he's always like, "I thought of you. I got a really sturdy chair for you," and it is the most uncomfortable, like low. I'm like, how did you think that I would be able to use this? And
Well,
then those fucking high chairs. If you have
my,
fat friends, do not get high shit chairs anywhere for our great big giant butts.
yeah, my legs were falling asleep while I was sitting on those.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had to climb down from the chair
Yeah.
and then wait for the blood to come rushing back to my feet.
Hey, at least you fit on most of it. For me, I was like, is there a second chair that I can use? It was so uncomfortable. Anyway. All right. So, shows that we watched together. How are you doing on Night Court? You caught up?
I know I caught up to the boyfriend, but I have not done this episode. So I've
Okay.
done.
Well, there's actually two after that.
Oh,
You'll
okay.
get to the wedding episode, or was that the boyfriend episode?
No, the boyfriend
Okay.
episode was him. Remember the
Yes.
black lady who's what's her job? She's the
Bailiff.
bailiff. The bailiff caught him, her boyfriend in her office and thought he was like an assailant.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you believe that that's who they chose to play her boyfriend?
I was shocked,
I
just
don't
shocked.
get it. I don't get it. I mean, it was like, oh gosh, I can never remember that old musical, the Hillbilly one.
Oh, Bessel Whorehouse in Texas.
No, I said Hillbilly. That one actually is really
Oh,
good.
oh, oh, it's the girl with the really short shorts. What's it called? What are those short jeans called?
Uh,
Fanny,
Oh,
Daisy Duke.
Daisy Dukes.
Remember, it was Daisy Duke and the guy. Is that the musical?
No,
No.
Daisy Dukes is the. I just remember it being like almost like it was based on some old cartoon or something, but it's like a hella throwback, and they're all bumpkins, and they're all celebrating a big old town, something or other. Anyway, it'll come to me at the weirdest time.
I know which one you're talking about. It Daisy Duke is or Daisy is one of the characters. I'll find it out.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so there are two episodes after that. One the next one you'll not the next one, but the one after that you'll find where she comes across kind of an old boy network type thing that she has to deal with. And this isn't spoilers by saying how the hell can you become an NYC night court judge, an actual judge, and not have any clue or anything else about there being an old boy network. Come on. It was just a little too unbelievable. They make her just so Pollyanna that it just kind of takes out of everything. Anyway,
I agree.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And- go ahead.
I think her character is a little slightly too naive.
Yes. Yeah. And
And I would,
not like even willingly so.
yeah,
So yeah. Okay, and then Top Chef World All Stars episode 5 was the family vacation cook-off where they all got shipped to I don't know, Surrey or Brighton or some, I think it was Surrey. And they got stuck in this really beautiful vacation home and had to share burners. Oh my stars. And then they all cooked a dish and uh, it all sat around a big table and talked about themselves and the dishes and blah blah blah. And well, there you go. I was not upset with who went home, although I thought she was neat, but I won't say who it was. But it wasn't one of the hot guys, so that was a plus. But you know who I really really love is the African uh I almost said judge, um, chef from the Congo.
right.
You know, the more that we're told her story and everything, the more I just think that she is awesome. So
Yeah, I like her too. But I don't want her to win. I want one of the cute guys to win.
I would be happy with her winning, but yeah, I don't know. Some of the cute guys are really kind of falling down on the job. And what is it with our cute openly gay Spanish guy? Because the other ones seem to come from places that they can't really be open about who they are, but but
Because
with him, like he
too
just keeps being
emotional.
in the bottom.
She's too emotional.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that.
I mean, she's like, oh, this mole meant so much to my father. Well, then make it good.
Right. Yeah,
That would be
exactly.
helpful.
I cried my tears into it. That is the salt. Yes, but he's just adorable. Okay. Spring break baking championship I caught up with last night. Um, I don't even remember who was it that went home.
It was one of the cooks.
Exactly. They all blend until like the last few. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a few really neat people on this show, and then it seems like the rest they just all are like, okay, well, we need some filler. Just grab somebody and put them in here. You
right.
know,
Yeah. What was the challenge? I watched this a few days ago.
I don't even remember.
Oh,
I know it's horrible, but again, it blends. It's all like, here, make a cake, make a cupcake, and then they hand it to, and they're just like, oh, I ran out of time. Here's the thing though that I discovered about that because I was always like, how the fuck can you run out of time? You always do a crappy job because you just, oh, my time management. But the thing is that I think some people walk away from the show thinking that they're bad, that these cooks, these chefs and stuff like that are just bad because they see their work, judged and it's like a cake melting and falling apart. But the thing is, I think they're really brilliant, but when they're home, they've got a day or two to make these amazing products and cakes and make it all good. But on here, they have literally 90 minutes and they've never done that before.
well, I
So
remember the woman who went home. She was the one that had everything was dry. The cake was dry. Everything was dry.
eight.
Yeah,
What?
because I remember she
Oh,
did
the
it.
German
No,
woman.
no, that was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, this was the one where she did everything in the sheet pans, and then she was cutting out
Okay.
circles, and the cake was so dry you could tell on screen it was dry. And
Okay.
she's going, "Oh my God, this is really dry," and then they confirmed it when they ate it.
Well, and
How
that's another thing. If your cake is that dry, why don't you do a wash? A simple
dry.
syrup, something.
something, or one thing I used to do was if it was a little bit warm but
Yeah.
dry, I would get the inside frostings,
Uh-huh.
the layer frosting, and put a bunch of it in the center, and
Hmm.
then that starts melting your um kind of butter, and it helps. It really helps.
Yeah.
It does get a little grainy in the middle, but the cake's not moist. I mean, the cake's moist, so that's good.
Right. Yeah. I just, yeah, I don't know why they don't do that. I
Yeah.
don't know whether they just don't think about it or whether
Well,
it's
there's
really,
because they're too busy watching the clock, and I mean, they're under a lot of pressure to get
yeah.
what you said, something that would take 2 or 3 days to do, done in an hour and or 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Good luck on that.
Huh. Yep. Okay, so then Survivor. So I believe I am caught up.
Yeah, you are.
Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. You might want to jump ahead real quick. But this was the one where basically they pulled everybody together. They weren't one tribe yet, but they were all on the same beach, and uh they had their big competition, and everybody wanted Yam Yam to go. Of course, they call him, what is it, Jam Jam? But
Yeah.
it's spelled Yam Yam. Um, and some people were just like really like, oh, I wish it was him. He just annoys me. Nephi. But I, on the other hand, I think he's kind of sweet and cute, and I like that he's out. And I didn't like who went home, which is Josh, who is the tall, beautiful black man, who was a doctor. Let me tell you, my mom would just love for me to have married him. However, I just don't like uppity people, snobbish people that think act like they're so much better than everyone else. And he just that's what he came across as. He's just like, oh, Jam Jam's so beneath me. Oh, yes, we bonded over the fact that we're both homosexuals. But other than that, he's like a 2 and I'm a 10. And that attitude just bugged me. So I was not unhappy that he went home. And you're looking at me all open mouth like I'm a crazy Karen
Oh
bitch or
no, it's just
something.
you use the word uppity. It's
I
a word
did.
I don't use in describing anyone,
Why?
because it used to always be a term used for blacks. If they
Oh,
tried to make any kind of comment, it's don't get all uppity in my face.
hmm.
And I thought it was a fun word until I discovered what it meant.
Huh, that's interesting. I had never heard that before. Hey, you know what? I have a little a game. Let's pause for a moment, and I have a little game for you now that we're thinking about it. Okay.
Okay.
So, yes or no, are these I'm going to give you some phrases and you're going to tell me whether they are canceled or not.
Phrases. Okay.
Yeah. First world problem.
No, that's not cancel.
Okay. Powwow or tribe.
No, I don't think those are bad words.
Well, just whether you think they're
I
canceled
understand. I
or not.
understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, I don't see where, I mean, if you're doing, oh, the karate chop thing, that is going a little far. But powwow and tribe, come on, those are tribe and powwow. I think is a really nice way of saying, hey, let's have a meeting where we're going to talk.
Okay. So,
Go ahead.
master bedroom.
Um, I always wondered what that meant as a kid. Master of what? But
Hmm.
now, I mean, now we can certainly think of what it probably meant at one point.
Okay. Uh, chief in charge.
Um,
Those are two separate. Chief
yeah,
and in charge.
in charge. Yeah, the chief thing doesn't really bother me.
Yeah. Okay. Blindsided.
No, that doesn't bother me.
Whether it bothers you, it's whether it's canceled
No,
or
oh, no, I think
not.
it's
Okay.
can't.
Blind spot.
No,
Okay. Blind leading the blind.
it's such a good phrase, but I can see where somebody might be a little not happy with. Uh, so,
Lame.
well, because blind leading the blind, it makes it sound like, handicap leading handicap. So,
Right.
so
Or
yeah, I could
disabled
see.
leading
Yeah,
disabled. Yeah.
you said lame.
Lame.
I
That's so lame.
Yeah, I don't get
Yeah.
what.
Uh,
Oh wait, like somebody is lame. Oh no.
yeah.
Wow, it's really easy to twist these words around, isn't it?
Spook.
That I think if you say if you need to use spook, say spooky.
Yeah. That's actually a word that I deleted from my language a long time ago when I found out. So that one I would say definitely
Yeah,
canceled.
yeah,
Uh,
I would.
Tone deaf.
No.
Peanut gallery.
Oh no, is this for peanut allergy people?
Well, traditionally, the peanut gallery was in theater. It was the poor people that they stuck in the back,
Really,
and
I've never heard that.
they would have peanut, like they would sell them peanuts for hella
Sure.
cheap. And so they would stand there and watch the show, and then peanut shells and shit would get all over the place. And,
Well, and if somebody would say something from there, they could go, "Hey, we don't need to hear from the peanut gallery."
right, exactly.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting story. I don't know if it's canceled or not, but it's an interesting story.
Um, Jip or Jip,
Yeah, I've heard.
yeah. Ghetto,
Um, I think it's always been an ugly word.
mm. Brainstorm,
No,
yeah. Mom and dad.
this sounds like a South Park thing now. No, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Although
And
I
then,
do think that when you say a family and you have to always show a mother, a father, and children, and maybe grandparents or something, it's always heterosexual. It's always heterosexual, and it's always the atomic couple. The that that shot that every magazine wanted in the 60s of a family.
uh-huh, the
Ugh.
nuclear family, yeah.
Oh, I said atomic nuclear. Yes, the nuclear family.
Uh,
And it was weird because I mean, I grew up in a family that, my parents didn't get divorced, and um I had a brother and a sister, but that kind of stuff still, well, it's kind of like when I was working in Los Angeles. I remember that when they had a party, let's say an event party, and everybody could come. It was one of those where they'd say, okay, so if you can bring a guest, unless you have a family, and you can bring your spouse and the children. And I'm
mm,
like, okay, why do they get to bring kids? Do I get to bring friends? Can I bring some friends with me? Yeah, live with them. We're all good. We're closer than a lot of families are.
uh,
No. Oh, okay.
yeah, exactly.
That always bothered me.
Yeah. Speaking of grandfather or grandparent, as you said, grandfathered in.
Um, yeah, it doesn't bother me, and and everyone knows what it means. It's just one of those terms that, um, well, it's also for the more wealthy, let's say,
Mm.
grandfathered
And
in.
lowest on the totem pole.
I don't even use the term.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if you were wondering, only one of those, which is one that I made up, and now I don't even remember which one. Uh, they're all canceled. They're
Cancel.
all bad phrases.
Mom and dad.
Yeah, mom and dad, grandfathered in, which I didn't even understand why. I'm sure one of our listeners will tell us. But there were, and Brainstorm, I don't get that one either. But there are some of the others that, that I can totally see,
Sure, I mean, I
there
could
were a
see
few here
TV.
that I'm like, oh yeah, we knew that a long time ago. But there were some that I'm like, oh, okay.
But then I think that, in a lot of things, there's one person, sitting in their basement hating that word or that phrase.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people don't give a shit. And that's what I think is one of the big problems that we have as a country right now, is that maybe not even as a country, maybe as a world, is that we're all getting too fucking sensitive. And I mean, I want to be, sensitive to where it needs to be, but it's everything now.
Well, I would say that that is a first world problem, but apparently that was canceled too.
Well, like for instance, when I went out, we had the lesbians did not want to shake hands or hug when this
Well,
weekend.
that's just being a lesbian.
Well, I didn't, I haven't been around enough people lately because, 10
Kidding.
years ago, they were all happy to hug and
Uh-huh.
shake hands, especially in a gay situation, right?
Oh yeah.
And now it was like the guy shook hands and then at the end gave hugs,
Uh-huh.
and then the women were all very, oh, nice to meet you. And I'm like, okay, keep my hands to my side,
Yep.
and that's fine. But that's, you just kind of, I mean, I don't want anyone to not get what they want, type thing.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not gonna go, no, you're gonna shake my hand.
right. Yeah, no, exactly. But it is weird, and it is weird too because a lot of that the pandemic changed.
It did.
We're always like, oh, it didn't change that much, blah blah blah, but it really did. I mean, I'm more wary of like, and believe me, I had the OCD thing going on, so I was already conscious of like, don't touch that. But now I'm even more so like, oh, I don't have my hand sanitizer in my pocket right now. What level is my anxiety going to go over this?
Well, I had a pedicure on Sunday or Saturday, and some of the women doing the nails were um, had masks and some did not. And the
Yeah,
same thing when we went to the pho. We went and had pho yesterday, and some of the women were waiting staff were wearing masks, and a few weren't. So it's just,
yeah.
I
You
get
know,
it.
I think that we would probably see a lot of the mask stuff stay if, I mean, like long term, if we developed masks that were a little bit, I don't know, did their job, but were a little bit easier, friendly to use.
Well, that's
Makes
not going to
sense.
be a good mask.
Yeah. Well, you know how you see stuff like in the year 3000 in some
Oh,
movie
sure.
or something, and be like, oh no, they're wearing a mask. You just can't see it because it's transparent on transparent mode or
Here's
whatever.
my mask.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
For those of you who aren't watching the video, Tom used something completely undescribable to
It's one of those little things that you clean your
investors.
screen with. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Keyboards. They're really great on keyboards.
anyway, so thank you to Nephi for sharing that with me. I thought you
That
would
was good.
find it
That was good.
interesting. Um, okay,
Okay.
I did not watch. Oh, anyway, Josh went home, and I'm glad. Animal
But the
Control.
funny part, my
Oh yeah,
favorite part of that episode was when I think her name is Carolyn, who was on the team with Yam Yam and
yeah.
okay. And she's going, okay, let me run through this again. He
Uh-huh.
did not have an idol. The
Mhm.
idol he got for switching teams, he's used.
Right.
The other idol that he pulled out looked like
Female.
crap, and Yam Yam immediately called it a fake idol, saying, "We got that on the tree mail. Those are beads from the tree mail.
Yeah.
That's not a real idol." And they're going, "Well, but are you sure?" And she's like, "I'm sure. God, what?" And then then she had to go do her little library thing. Where, okay, you're not going to believe these idiots. The confessional.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's funny because they really do kind of treat her like a joke. Like
Yes.
they're just like whatever crazy blonde woman with big tits who talks too much. But I'm like, she's been on the money every single show, every single time. She's done it. She's pulled it out. So I kind of am hoping she wins.
Well, I don't. I'm liking her more,
Yeah.
but ultimately, I hate her.
Well, I mean, she's very not
She's too
the
weird.
most. Well,
She's
I
too
don't
weird for
care. I don't care. I
television.
think that just the fact that they underestimate her so much makes me like her more. Anyway, I did not watch Animal Control this week.
Okay. There was a really funny scene with a sturgeon. They basically what happens is there's a dead sturgeon and they have to go pick it up and it's starting to rot, and it's been out for a while. But they don't want to deal with it. So they take it over the county line. So the other county has to come pick it up. And
Hmm.
they're like, "Oh, thanks for bringing it to us." And they're like, "Oh, the sturgeon. We don't know how that got here," and that kind of stuff. And so then they drop it, then the other county drops the sturgeon back on our property, their property, and then they do another thing to the sturgeon, and ultimately it gets dropped in on at the top of their party at the end of the show. They're having a party. Isn't this great? And the sturgeon comes down from the sky. They have a helicopter and they drop the sturgeon. So it had its moments. It was a pretty funny episode.
uh, uh, was he shirtless in any of it?
He was in pajamas.
Oh,
I'll just leave you with that.
I will go check that out later on today then. All right. Anything else that we're mutually watching that's not on
No,
this list? I
I don't
don't think
think
so.
so. And
Okay.
of course, I didn't celebrate Easter, so that has to be your story.
Okay. So, well, we did. I surprised Mother and Kaya with a basket that I put in the drawer for them to discover the next morning, and filled it with all sorts of fun candy and chocolate bunnies, and also one of the things that was kind of funny was that I also like I found a bunch of stuff that we had like kind of wanted over time, but it was just been too expensive. So I found it on Temu and I'm like, oh, well, that's fun. Let's do that. So I also got her like an oxygen monitor that goes over your finger, the little, you know what I mean? It takes the
Yeah.
pulse and then does the oxygen level. So I got one of those. I got one of those little guns that like you put up to your head and it takes your temperature. Like I got one of those. So it was also useful day. And I got a new pad for Kaya to lie in on the chair, and she absolutely loves it, which is great. And I got her a little donkey toy, which she doesn't like, so we're waiting for Jax to come and tear it apart. Uh, so yeah, it's very fun. And also, we have Lori Dean has a visitor with him now. And so Jack spends a lot of time back there, so we don't get to see him as much. But so we have lots of toys that have not been torn apart and shredded. And it's very weird. Very, very weird. They're
Don't
happy,
worry.
but
Their time will come.
yeah. Exactly. So it was a very nice Easter. I made some steak instead of we didn't. Mom doesn't really like ham, and we always end up having a ton of it left over. So I just said no ham this year, and that was that. And but the day before, um, Mr. Lurie Dean made burgers for us that we ate outside on a very lovely day. So that was very, very nice, very fun. It wasn't fun though. My lawn. We've been having the lawn cut since it's been growing, growing, growing with all the atmospheric rivers. And I said I want the lawn cut once a month, and they've been doing that, charging $40, and I've been happy with that. Well, then they tried to bump me up, make me go twice a month. So I said, no. I said, I want it once a month. And so, because I'm not paying $80 a month for the lawn. And so they said, oh, well, this lawn is there's parts of it that are over 6 inches. So we're going to have to charge you extra for that. So I ended up having to pay $80 anyway. And now the grass is just growing, growing, growing. And I look out there and it's over 6 inches again. And they're supposed to be here in about 5 days. And I'm like, so now you're going to try to charge me $80 a month, twice a month. So I am going to have to learn how the hell to use the little rinky dink battery operated lawnmower that we have out there that was bought for us and go mow my lawn. I'm not the person that does this stuff. I don't I not since I was a kid have I done this. I don't like it. It gives me anxiety to do it, but I am not going to be paying 160 fucking dollars a month for lawn care.
Well, the other part that always bothers me about this lawn service is they want it, 12 months a year. But
Uh-huh.
I don't need my lawn mowed between November and like February.
Yep.
And I definitely don't need it twice a month during November and February.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't even need it. Yeah, exactly. It'll be probably, well, obviously it's April. So probably by the middle of May, I won't need it anymore. And I won't need it again until, probably
Right,
like you said,
because
about December.
you're not watering your lawn. So
Right.
as soon as the asthma,
Atmospheric river.
thank you. As soon as that door shuts,
Yep.
dead lawn, dead lawn.
Yep. And
Yeah.
that's the way it is. And
And then they still want to charge you.
yeah. It's like, no, thank you. I don't,
I I
no.
had one guy, the lawn in the back was so dead, and he is back there mowing it that it's a cloud of dust. He was, I mean, I don't know. He was pulling more ground up
Uh-huh.
than leftover whatever lawn was left.
Yep.
Yeah. So
So yeah, I am going to become in the next couple of weeks here. I'm gonna have to just tell him no, thank you anymore. He does a good job. He doesn't go above and beyond, but I mean he did a good job. But I
he mows
no
the
no
front
I
lawn.
can't afford that.
Does the front lawn in that little area over by Lurie Dean's place.
No, he does the front lawn. Period.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, you're being ripped off.
Uh-huh.
I thought he was doing that area by Lurie Dean's place too, even though there's not
No,
really
no,
a
no.
lawn.
My mother for years. She goes back, she had gone back there, I don't know how many years ago, probably 3, 4 years ago, before her second hip surgery or whatever it was. And she handpicked, I'm talking like bunch of weeds, grass, everything else back there. She bent over and handpicked all of that grass and weeds and everything, patch by patch, for over a month, and just did it herself. She's just like, whatever, I gotta need something to do. So she just pulled it all up. I mean, so yeah, it doesn't need to be mowed. She'll go back there and just grab that shit and be like, get out of my garden. So yeah, but it pissed me. It pisses me off. It's like I'd be happy to employ somebody to do it, but not at fucking $160 a month. No, not even 80. Fuck off. So there's that. Other than that, there is no How I Met Your Father new episode. None of that. But Lopez versus Lopez. They had a dog quinceanera because they found out that the little dog that they have was actually 15 years old. How they did not know that, I don't know. But anyway, so they had a dog quinceanera, and it turned out that, well, the whole thing, of course, played into the daughter Mayan's. She didn't have a quinceanera when she was little, so it was all very, cathartic for her to do this. So it's a cute show. Some of the acting, I have to say, the mother on the show, I really like her, but man, she just cannot deliver when it comes to her acting. Everything is very community theater is esque. Maybe she's a better dramatic actress. I don't know, but her comedy timing is just not there.
I was
Um,
just thinking, did you know it's going to have 20 episodes this season?
yeah, yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done with it. It's
Oh,
like it's 16 or 17 or something like that now.
okay.
Anyway, but it's a fun little show. It's one of those shows where you're just like, you know what? I just need a light little laugh. Go watch it. It's fun, but you know, eh, it could be better. Uh,
By the way, you've just seen the 11th episode.
oh, is
There's
that the
there's
11th? Are
still
you
nine
sure?
left, and they don't start again until May.
Oh, well, that's fine.
May and rest of
Um,
July, the last episodes.
but I'll tell you what I thought was over, and it wasn't. Call me Cat. So it turns out there's at least several more episodes of that. And so, of course, this episode 20 was the whole big breakup aftermath. Yeah, every other part of the show except for the breakup shit was funny. It was on
The baby
point.
part,
What?
baby part,
No, that's all. That was done like episode 5.
but was it
So
funny?
this is way done.
Okay.
So yeah, but every other part, the whole the relationships, the parties, the mother, the whole costumes, everything was funny. And then they got to the whole breakup thing every time they had on, and she's just the whole character of Kat is so like, well, I don't understand. I thought we could break up and we'd still be friends. I don't understand why he's acting like this. Ah. So, wow, it's just they fucked the show with that. And if they
Well,
don't
this
get
is
them
the
back
show.
together by the end of the season, it's just it's going to be a bust. So anyway,
Well, I did read that it is not, has not been renewed as of yet,
mm.
but the critics think that it will.
Well, I hope it does, but I'll tell you, the whole thing with the show that it was originally based on, Miranda, was about, the relationship and whether it was on again, off again, or if it would ever happen, that type of thing. But you had 6 episodes a season, not 20 something. So, uh, they kind of rapid fired some of it, but they also had a lot of other stuff going on. In this one, I'm more interested in the other stuff going on. Just get them together, leave them together, and get on with the rest of the show. You have so much more to explore than this. Just it's already you've done it. 3 seasons. You got them together. That's about the same that they did with Cheers. Just move on. All right. And with that said, let's go ahead and jump into some Miss Manners. Hmm. Oh, this is advice. Miss Manners, go find her. She's everywhere. A former colleague of mine now works at a company that makes a product I happen to really like. Well, when we worked together, we weren't especially close, but we had good rapport. I recently saw him on social media and said hello and told him how much I enjoyed this product. We had a little back and forth chit chat and ended with him saying if I ever needed any products, he could get me a discount. How do I interpret this offer? Do I come across as a schnorrer? If I say yes, I do happen to be running low, and I could take advantage of his generous offer. Or could I now take advantage of his generous offer? The product is not cheap, so a discount would be welcome. I probably would only do this once, but even so, is an offer always an offer, or is it sometimes just someone being polite? By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, I looked it up, and a schnorrer is Yiddish for a beggar or a scrounger or a layabout.
Oh, has that been canceled?
But it's Yiddish, it's never canceled.
Okay.
Anyway, so what do you think?
Well, if she if he genuinely offered it up in conversation, then you take advantage of it. But I mean, now if she had to like pry it out of him over, 2 or 3 months of constant contact to finally get him to go, if you ever need any of that stuff, I can help you with that. And but otherwise, I would say that even if you weren't I mean, you worked with somebody for a long time, whether or not you were close with them at work, there is a bond that happens. It's weird. So I'd say don't worry about it. Get it, and if and see how he reacts afterwards, if you get it the first time. And because I don't know what this is. Did they say?
No, they just said it's basically an expensive product.
Yeah. So take advantage of it. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I same. I hit him up again and say, you know what, you made this offer a little bit ago. Are you sure that that's okay? Because I need to replenish my supply, and I just wondered if you might be amenable to that, or and if not, that's okay. I just wanted to check in with you, and that way if he has to come back and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that anymore," it doesn't look weird or
Right.
uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable. But yeah, fucking hit him up on it. I mean, come on, do it. I can get you free condoms. Hit me up. No. So
Yeah,
anyway,
you go to
uh,
any fucking place that has a bowl sitting out front. I mean, the bars and I'm sure that
uh-huh.
our
I like
lovely.
literally when we did the drag queen bingo event, uh, because we were the sponsors of the company that I was on the board for as a sponsor, we set out like big things of Magnum condoms, like on all the tables and stuff, and I was like, wow. And of course, everybody kept bringing them to me. I'm like, y'all know me too well. But no, but actually, I was a little like, this is drag queen bingo, and or I mean, it's drag queen, but it's bingo, and there's people here that may not appreciate, with their Jesus daubers, you just throwing out some condoms. Here you go. You look like you may. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, those cat pictures are very pretty. Yes. Anyway, so here's what Miss Manners had to say. Anyone who works in retail is generally given strict specifications for the discounts that can be offered. Miss Manners therefore thinks you can politely take this man at his word. I do so love the company's snail plasma ice cream. If you mentioned that you mentioned you can offer discount. Would you really be able to provide that without difficulty? I promise not to take advantage, and then make certain to keep that promise. You don't want to be a schnorrer. I'm just saying.
Yep.
So that was Miss Manners. Yay! All right, hey Chubs, what was your first impression of your co-host?
Uh, uh, well, at first, it was how can I use him to get my play on?
You didn't even. I wasn't even with Lambda players at that
Yes,
point.
well, the first time I really remember you was at Lambda,
Oh,
and
okay.
you were just getting your play set up. You had the play with you wanted to get going, and so I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, this is a person I need to figure out.
Mm. That's
Yeah,
very interesting. See, I remember you from our first meeting, which was at this side up, when
yeah,
you thought that I was a trashy whore because your then partner was hanging out for no real reason.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. It was because you guys, I felt like I was being persuaded to do something that I was going to get myself in trouble for doing. You know how when everyone goes, "Oh, can you do this?" and then you find
Yes,
out
I
there's
got you.
too much fucking work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was and then so I really didn't think about any of you at that point, except for getting away.
Yeah, that makes more sense. No, I actually I the my first impression of you was that you were like so like connected, and because you were like all these clubs. You were in the bear club, you were doing the movie, the film stuff. I was just like, I was like, oh wow, he's, really somebody in the community. Well, and you were, but
I know, and then I go to the bar on Saturday and I know one person.
I, hey, you, that's more than I do sometimes. In fact, somebody was like recently telling me that a regular bar person who was always at the bar when I would go there, and they would fall off the stools because they would get drunk and stuff. And his nickname was Strawberry because he had kind of red hair. And like I said to several people recently, I was like, "Oh, Strawberry died," and they're like, "Who?" It was so long ago. They had no
So, what did he look like?
what?
What did he look like?
He looked like a very old drunk person with white, red-ish hair, and he would be drunk and fall off the stool.
Was he hitting on you?
No, but he was always nice to me, which I was always like, ah, creepy guy.
You know
But
where you know where he lived?
no,
Okay.
no. But I do know that he kind of lived at the bar stool at the end of the bar at
Oh yeah.
Bacon's or the Merc, and that's where he lived. But then he had health anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So just going on. All right. Hey Chubs, what would your younger self not believe about your life today?
Any of this?
How damn fat you are. No, that you're
No,
not rich and successful and famous.
no, just that any of this actually could happen. I mean, think about it. When you were a
Well,
kid, did you think that one day you would have any kind of equality? Did you think I just figured that I would be going in and out of alleyway bars,
mhm,
hiding from the police and the crazies who like to beat up gay people. That's what I had when I was a kid.
no.
So it was like, I mean, I remember parking 2 blocks away from the bar and then walking up the street just to not have my car seen there. Like
Mm,
anybody's going to go, hey, that's his car at
yeah.
16. I mean, it was, but it's that kind of, so yeah, that any of this is happening, that we have, you know, living openly and being married and having, uh, you know, uh, just a regular life. Oh,
Well,
nice. That was so pretty.
yeah.
I don't know what that was, but it was pretty.
What, the cough?
Yeah, it looked like you were like you ready to cough up a fur
Furball.
ball.
Well, it could have been, yeah, no, but seriously, yeah, you're right. I mean, just everything. I mean, it's seriously, if I at what age was it? Your younger self, okay, say if I was 20 and
Oh no, no,
bumped
no,
in
no. This is like 10.
10, well,
10.
I wouldn't have known. I would have believed whatever anybody said at 10. As I was naive. I was a naive child. But
I
let's
mean,
say our younger self was more like at least late teens or something, and you explained everything that's going on today, not only with equality, but also with the pandemics and the presidential shit and everything else that's going on. It would have blown my mind. I would have been like, I don't know if I really want to be in the U.S. when I'm older. All right. Well, Tom has fallen silent. So moving on. What's in your lunchbox? Well, Mr. Moose wrote in and said, I got something in my box for you. It's a good Friday here. And
yum.
yeah. And there was a long line at our regular restaurant. Went to Bojangles for fried chicken. I'm surprised that hasn't been canceled. Um, do you have
Yes.
Bojangles where you are? Do we?
No.
No, no. Mm-mm.
No, art that this is
Actually, it's funny that we were just talking about you parking your car away because the original place where you would go was named Bojangles.
well, no, it was before Bojangles.
Really? What was
Yeah.
before Bojangles?
It was I remember Tommy and uh the guys that ran the Bolt
Yeah,
and
Joseph.
Joseph. It was called Joseph's.
Oh, okay. I
No,
that
no, no.
Gotcha.
No,
Yeah.
long before the Josephs you were aware of.
No, no, I remember. I
On
mean,
Fairhope
I don't
Boulevard.
remember because I came in like right after they moved, but I remember the legacy because I wrote an article about him.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I was going there at 16. Oops.
wow. Hey, we all did what we had to
Yeah,
do.
but you go if you go on the weeknights, they want cars because there's not that many people there anyway.
Yeah.
And I parked 2 blocks away
And
whenever I
they
went
they
there.
wanted they wanted the chicken there anyway. They knew it sold, right? Speaking of chicken, so fried chicken, do you have a Bojangles there? No, 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 not where we are. It's Louisiana style chicken with lots of red pepper in the batter. This was a quarter white with a side of slaw, dirty rice, and a biscuit. I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's a nice breast there.
We're gonna get canceled.
So this is going to be similar to like Popeye stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like it. In
Well,
fact,
because the Cajun thing.
now I want Popeyes. Also, Phoenix Dave wrote in and said, "Oh, that looks interesting. I got home to my husband cooking dinner. Pictured is hamburger steak covered in onion mushroom gravy. Ooh. And cream spinach. Not pictured is baked potato covered in butter, sour cream, and green onions. Now I really want a baked potato. Or baked potato with onion mushroom gravy. I have the best husband.
I love cream broccoli. I just do. And then because this almost looks like uh Salisbury steak, which it could be Salisbury steak, and he just calls it hamburger steak something. But it's traditionally done with a brown mushroom gravy.
Mm.
And oh God, this looks. I just kind of want to push that middle one out of the way, and I just want to bathe in it.
Yeah, it looks really, really good.
Yum, yum, yum.
But Golden Rule Services want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. PrEP is a medication proven to be 99% effective when preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, visit sacgrs.org. And don't forget that PrEP is for everyone. Well, most everyone. But yeah. All right. Find Tom's other podcast at swannerandjed.com. Find Matt's books at justkisstheguy.com. Find all our links at allmylinks.com/Chubs Gone Wild. And give us a call at
408-69 Chubs.
a little anticipation. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. It was a lovely show. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.